Hi, my name is Kathy Braico. I am going to be reading a book by John Lithgow, who is an actor, and it is called Never Play Music Right Next to the Zoo. And I've got some music on in the background. I hope you can hear it. It's something by a composer named Aaron Copland, who composed a lot of music reflecting America. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a retired pediatrician, and I was in practice in Adirondack Pediatrics here locally for many years. I'm also the medical director of H Ranch, the camp for kids with serious illnesses in Lake Luzerne. And I am on the board of Amorak Youth. Amorak is an organization that has services for kids who live in Hudson Falls and Fort Edward in elementary, middle, and high school. We offer programs like music lessons and tutoring, and soon we're going to be offering a special Circus Smirkus week that anybody who's 8 years old or older can join, and all of these programs are free. So there'll be a link on the L.E.A.P website to Amorak Youth if any of you have older brothers or sisters that might want to participate in some of our programs. And now I'm going to start reading to you Never Play Music Right Next to the Zoo by John Lithgow. The illustrations are by Lisa Hernandez. Never play music right next to the zoo. I went to a concert when I was a lad, no older than many of you. I sat with my sister, my mother and dad, and at a bandshell right next to the zoo. So here is everybody coming up to get into that concert. And here you can see that it's next to the zoo, and there's a lion there peeking at the people, and he doesn't look awfully happy. I wonder what's going to happen. The soft summer air was so balmy and sweet, and the program was running so long that I found myself falling asleep in my seat, despite all the music and song. So here's the boy telling the story, and he's falling fast asleep in his seat, and there's the orchestra playing. Maybe you can hear some of the orchestra music in the background. It could have been a song just like that. All at once, the conductor erupted with rage. A band of wild animals was storming the stage. Oh no, he looks mad. He's a lion coming at him. And look what's happening over here. He's getting trampled by the animals. Oh, children, remember, whatever you do, never play music right next to the zoo. They'll burst from their cages, each beast and each bird, desperate to play all the music. Here they are, coming right up to that stage, running right over everybody to get to where they can play the instruments. I don't think animals would play instruments very well, do you? The lions, the elephants, the bears, and the raccoons will steal away trumpets, the flutes, and bassoons. There is an elephant who is trying to take away a bassoon, a big old long instrument. And up there at the top, there's a lion trying to steal the trumpet. And over here, we have got a bear trying to take the flute away from the flute player. Replace the musicians and chase them away. Then they'll sit in the bandshell and play. Oh, look at this. Nobody's going to have their instrument anymore. The animals are going to have every single instrument. What are the orchestra people going to do? And look at that poor person's getting sat on by the elephant. Oh no. The monkeys played fiddle, the bison played bass, the percussions were manned by the camel. Now you can see the monkey with a fiddle, and a fiddle is basically a violin. And there is the camel playing something called a kettle drum. And here's the bison playing bass and a yak playing a saxophone. This is ridiculous. The yak played the sax until red in the face, surprisingly musical mammal. The bonobo played oboe, the ferret the flute, the jackal attacked the bassoon, the hippo had chosen the tuba to toot by the light of the silvery moon. Can you see all of them? taking those instruments and just playing them like they were professional musicians. And look at least the tube is the right size for a hippo. Siberian tigers, Mongolian goats, a super abundance of bestial notes. Look at, I think that's a flamingo in the middle there. He's playing a triangle. And what's happening over here? They're chasing that poor musician right away. As the animal orchestra filled up the air with chaos, confusion, and clatter, the audience calmly continued to stare as if nothing at all was the matter. There's everybody watching them, and they're up on the stage, all zoo animals. How come everyone's so calm? The little boy's not calm. He looks kind of scared. I trembled with terror, suppressing a scream, while my parents just sat there enraptured. Oh, how I wished it was only a dream and those creatures all safely recaptured. There's his mom and dad and his sister. They don't seem to mind. But here's him, and he looks really scared. Since by the minute I'd grown less afraid, I decided to sit back and watch while they played. Well, I guess he's calming down. He's got a flamingo friend and a raccoon friend there too. And what's happening over here? He's got a snake wrapped around his neck and he doesn't care? I guess he feels calmer now. And here's everybody enjoying the music that's being made by a bunch of animals on a stage. They finished and each put his instrument down, then bowed and descended the stage. Each shed his tuxedo or evening gown and hurried back home to his cage. So the animals are going back to the zoo after all. Well, that's a relief. And I hope those instruments are still okay after all those animals played them. And I hope the musicians got their instruments back. I wonder how this is going to turn out. Then each reminisced, so grateful and glad, so full of contentment and pride. My mother, meanwhile, strolled away with my dad, but my sister remained by my side. So the animals are all pretty happy with what they did, making that beautiful music. And there's mom and dad heading for home. But his sister is there to try to get him to come too. She tugged on my sweater and spoke in my ear. You'd better wake up or we're leaving you here. There's his sister trying to wake him up. You mean he was asleep all this time? Oh, children, remember, whatever you do, never play music right next to the zoo. They'll burst from their cages, each beast and each bird, desperate to play all the music they've heard. I think he was asleep. I think maybe this was a silly dream. No, never play music right next to the zoo, and pay strict attention to rule number 2. There's everybody leaving. I wonder what rule number 2 is going to be. Don't fall asleep when the orchestra plays. There it is. And there are the animals all heading back to the zoo after their wonderful performance. I hope you enjoyed this book. It's at Crandall Library if you want to borrow it. I'll be returning it this week, so you can go ahead and go down and get a copy. And then you can read it for yourself. Thank you.